Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Welcome back to another fun and exciting episode of Next to Madison. I'm your host, Madison Malloy. I'm very excited. I have an author on this podcast who wrote a phenomenal children's book called Alisha's Magical Red Lipstick. And it is all about building confidence in young girls, but it is also can be used to build confidence in young boys as well. Confidence is so key to the relationships we have, the income we earn, the overall happiness of our life. And to be able to start it early is going to give your children the best start. But she also lays down during the episode confidence for adults who may be struggling in certain areas of how you can build your confidence. And she just describes the red lipstick, of why the red lipstick was so important, the importance of communication with your children and also with your friends. Communication is everything. So much has fallen apart. Wars have been started over lack of communication. Communication is key. And the more you feel you can communicate effectively and really own what you're saying, you're just going to have better relationships and a better overall life. So this is an episode you do not want to miss, about building confidence in your children, but also building confidence in yourself. So please enjoy. I loved this episode. Our guest is amazing. So we will be right back with her to tell us all about Alisha's Red Lipstick.
Hey, it's Madison Malloy. I just wanted to remind you to make sure you grab a copy of my book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up. It is a great, funny self-help book that is going to help you get out of your own way. I have already helped thousands and thousands of people, and they are on their way to living their dream life, and I want every listener to be able to live their dream life as well. So grab a copy of the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or even the audiobook on Audible. Now back to the show.
We are back with our magical guest. And yes, she is magical because she just released her first children's book called Alisha's Magical Red Lipstick, which will help kids build confidence. And I'm so excited to learn more about this story and about her. And we're going to be talking about all the ways that you can build confidence in your children and also in yourself. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome my guest on this special episode of Next to Madison, Edna Khalily. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Madison. Thank you so much for having me on your show and giving this opportunity to bring the message out there on podcast to all your watchers and the viewers and listeners. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to do this.
Yes, well, thank you for coming on. And I do love this because I don't have kids myself, but I have two nieces and they're 9 and 10. And it's so important that they are, that we're saying things to them and guiding them the right way, that they build up confidence. And so I'm so excited to get a copy of your book and give it to them because I think they will absolutely love it. Children's books are so magical because they really transform and kind of
very much so, and they're so important.
Yeah,
the messages we're sending out there, it's like really important. The book and the messages are I grew up with books, so
well, exactly. And the thing is, up until we're 7 to 8 years old is the primary programming of the subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind is going to dictate your income, your relationships, everything. So what is the age group for this book?
I don't like to put an age group. It is for from 6, you can start at 6 years old. But it's just like my favorite book on the shelf is The Little Prince, because it's for children and adults. And it really describes all the, the emotion and love and relationship. And this is very similar to that book. And I wanted it to be this way because it's my favorite. The Little Prince is my favorite book.
Okay. So what was the inspiration for writing this book?
No, the inspiration is my mom. And it's a long story and I'm going to get into that. But I really wanted the book not to be in a certain age because I wanted mothers to read it as well. Because it is a relationship between a mother and a child. And this is where really a child gets to learn how to converse with the mother and how to show their emotions and not to keep it inside. And to me, I think it's very important for a child to be able to express emotions and not to be embarrassed and to have a an open line with parents where they can talk to them.
Yeah.
'Cause this is the way I grew up with my mom and my dad, especially with my mother. We talked about everything. So I thought I was very lucky to have that relationship with my mom, that I can talk to her about everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Because I think it's like with kids, they don't want to share. I know in my childhood, I didn't want to share certain things, like if I felt bullied at school or if I felt left out, or I wanted my parents to think I was the most popular person on the planet instead of,
Yeah.
having emotions where my feelings got hurt. And so I definitely suppressed emotions, but I think it's also the time period when I grew up. So, now it's great that it's more of a healthy thing of expressing your emotions and not being ashamed and, feeling those instead of kind of hiding those emotions. So, okay, so the red lipstick. Let's get into the red lipstick. I look terrible in red lipstick. I look like a hooker. So
No,
I red lipstick.
I don't think you can look like that. But red lipstick is sexy.
Uh-huh.
My mom always was wearing red lipstick. And my mom was beautiful Russian doll. And she never wore makeup, but she always had the red lipstick on. And unfortunately, my mom died from cancer.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
before she passed away, she asked me to wear red lipstick when I go to visit her. So that's where the red lipstick is coming from.
Oh, that's so
The
adorable.
name
Wait,
of the
that's
red
fabulous
lipstick.
on you.
I try sometimes, and I have like this little lipstick here.
Oh, I
And,
love it. Okay,
but
so
that I
I mean,
got as a gift.
yeah, I love it's so pretty. Okay, so inspiration behind the book. Let's get into it.
Inspiration behind the book. So my mom, growing up, she used to tell me, Edna, you're very beautiful, but remember that beauty is only skin deep and it's not important. It's nice to have it. It's a gift, but there is 1,000 ways of a girl to be beautiful. And only one of them is your physical beauty. If you look at the book, it says here, 999 ways to be beautiful. So I
Oh,
asked my mom, so what's the other 999 ways to be beautiful? And she did like this with her hand, like, don't ask. Then when I got married, and she reminded me a few times more, and I told her, so mom, you never told me. And she said, I'm never going to tell you. This is your journey that you have to remember to take, to learn, and to adapt. And that's where I got inspired from my mom. This is where the book is. Yes.
your mom sounded like a phenomenal woman. I mean, absolutely just an
Yes, it's
amazing.
so hard for me to talk about this because, it's my mom was like a very good friend of mine, and
Yeah.
when I lost her, when we lost her with the whole family, it was like she was the glue of the family, and it was a little difficult for us when we lost her.
Yeah. Well, now you have a beautiful guardian angel.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, well, that is so impressive. So why the 999?
So she said 1,000 ways, and only one of them is beauty. And so I told her, "What's the 1,000 ways?"
Oh,
So she
okay.
said, I asked her, "What's the 999 ways?" And she never told me. So this Alisha, I'm gonna get into it. So Alisha comes home one day from school, and she doesn't feel very pretty, and she gets a red lipstick from her mom, where she wears it. She gets sucked into a portal, and she finds her friend Binsa, and Binsa takes her all over the world to find people who are very beautiful. And that's where she finds beauty. That's where she's finding her inner beauty. And she comes back home from her journey. And I don't want to tell you everything, the whole story in there,
Right.
because I want you to read it. But when she comes back home, she gets confidence, she feels beautiful. But this came all from this little conversation that she had with her mom in the beginning of the book, where this was about being beautiful. That's where it came from. So,
Yeah.
but the inspiration was that when my mom passed, before she passed away, she told me, Edna, please remember me and remember the messages that I gave you. And because we talked so much, there were so many messages, but I wanted to pick one message that she gave me that had a big impact on me. And that was the message. That was one of the many messages. But this message had such a big impact on me that I always wanted to be the better me, the better, to find out what is there in the world that I can do, that it's amazing, that it's to reach out there and to help people, to be in an organization where there are fundraising events, and to help women, to empower girls. I'm a teacher and I don't have girls. I have sons and my boys are amazing. But I didn't want to bury my mom's message with her and with me. I wanted all the girls to know about my mom's message. I wanted and it's not really a book only for girls, it's for boys too, because they learn about amazing girls. So it's, and they learn about relationships. So I really wanted this message to go out there from my mom and to inspire everyone. Alisha goes out in the world and she does amazing stuff. She learns about all the amazing stuff that other kids are doing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break down.
And she really wants to be like them.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break down now to you on your journey. As your mom said, it's up to you to figure it out on your journey. What is beauty to you? What are some of the ways to be beautiful besides physical?
Beauty to me is how you handle situations. We are girls and girls have a lot of dramas. It's what you do with your time. It's what you do with your life. How do you know how to spread your life into be active and productive everywhere that you go? Beauty to me is where you leave a mark with a red lipstick. When you enter a room, you just don't go there to just like be there because you get invited. So you just go to this place just because you want to show yourself that you're there. It's what you do with that invitation. How do you interact with people? What do you learn? How do you accept without judging? What can you give back to the world? How do you leave your mark after you had your journey here in your life here on earth?
Yeah.
You leave a mark, right?
You do.
We all want to leave something behind us. And I don't want the day that will come when I'm gone and I did just like, what did I do? I didn't bring anything to the world. I got so many nice things back, friends, family, the beauty of the world, anything that it's really positive and amazing. And even if it's negative, it has a silver lining. I believe that even if there is something that does not go right in your life, there is a reason for it. There is a reason behind it, that it's there to learn something from it. So beauty to me in life is really, in so many ways, it's how you interact with life, with people, your relationship, as if you're a connector, you're connecting to everyone.
And it's true. I mean, that is one of the best descriptions I've ever heard. I feel so inspired, and I mean, you kind of silence me because I was like, wow, that is such a great thing. And they always say, like, I love how you said how you go to an event and you leave your mark in a positive way. And that goes back to, how you make people feel. And I think it's important that everybody who's listening to this and everybody around the world understands that we interact with so many people on a daily basis. And people sometimes will forget your face, they'll forget your name, but they never forget how you made them feel. So it's important to try to make everybody feel seen and heard, especially if you're granted time with them or they're granted time with you. And we are all so connected. And, beauty is a hard subject right now, especially with social media, because all these filters, nobody looks like themselves anymore. And it's unrealistic beauty standards. The plastic surgeons are loving it. Obviously, their revenues are through the roof.
They're having a great time.
They
And
are,
it's
but
very,
it's so much pressure like on women, especially, and it gets worse as you get older, I feel. And how to look good and still feel confident while you're starting to age.
it's
It's a
very interesting that you're saying it. It's very interesting because I have my students that I see them on a regular basis. And some of the kids who are coming to school, the girls, they're 9, 10 years old and they wear makeup. I'm not against makeup. I love makeup. But I think that they're losing
young.
yes. I don't know why it's the cosmetic industry is pushing it on little girls, but which I don't have anything against it. I don't. I think it's cute, it's beautiful, whatever. But I'm afraid that the message of the beauty is being taken away from the girls. And they don't, this is where the child is being right now nourished, right? And when you're nourished with all those fake things, it does not let you really learn what's the real thing in life.
Yeah.
You don't learn about the other things. And I think it's being taken away. So that one is a little bit, I think that this book is going to be amazing for children to learn about real beauty and what is it.
Yeah. Well, and it's such an important message because you're right. Outside beauty, physical beauty is just one part of it. And I think most people think it's the majority of the part of it. And, people that are pretty get attention, they get invited to places, they get opportunities that some don't. But we've also all met those people that maybe they're not like a supermodel walking down the street, but after you have a conversation with them, you're like, that's the most beautiful person I've ever met. There's something about them because they, as you said earlier, leave a mark of positivity and radiance and confidence. And that is more impactful than just some girl who has a great set of tits and a nice face.
That's
Like I'm just
confidence.
remember that more than the other. But yeah, it's so, I mean, it really is such an
It's confidence. That's what it is. It's the confidence that they have.
yeah. So let's get into that. What are some tips that you have for parents to help build confidence in their children?
The first thing that I will think is that, and I will advise, and I do speak to a lot of parents, is number one is the relationship through conversing with the child and not to go against what they say or think, because we are living in we will never be like our children, and our children will never be like us, because we are in two different timing. I learned this from my own kids.
Yeah.
you can never match the time that they're in. So I think it just be a great listener and just listen to them and learn where they're going with their thoughts. And the more you learn, the closer you will be to your child. And sometimes it's not necessary to give them direction. It's not to be the teacher and the preacher to the child. The best thing is to listen and to have the door open for them to come and always be able to talk. And this is my favorite page in the book, is when Alisha comes home and she has a conversation with her mom that she's not feeling very pretty at school. And all the other girls were so pretty. And the mother is telling her, giving her a chore. And in between, she's doing her chores and they're talking with each other. They're having this relationship that it's so innocent. But the mom is not telling her, what are you talking about? This one is this one. And she's telling her, well, you're very beautiful. You're beautiful. And she's like, Mom, of course you're going to think this way. I'm your daughter. They have a conversation and it's very pleasant. And, it's beautiful. And I think that parents, if they have this line of conversation with the child, it builds very healthy relationship where in the future they will not, when they're going to be 30 or 40, they will have a very healthy mental health. They're not going to have, you know, problems of things missing in their life.
Yeah, because they're not suppressing all their emotions and their thoughts and
So
their
it's preventing a lot of things for the future.
I really like that because I think I've never heard that said before, where it's like tips to build confidence in children. It's like, tell them they're pretty, tell them they're smart, tell them they're this, but the communication part is something new that I haven't heard and totally makes sense. If they feel confident to communicate and safe and heard and appreciated, that's in tune naturally going to build that confidence.
Yes, and I was very fortunate to have this relationship with my mom. I remember she was listening and listening, and then I'm like, Mom, what is your opinion? She said, I think you handle it right. You're good, you're great. Even though if I didn't, you're
Yeah.
fine. I never heard anything that went against, what I was thinking. It was always like together. Everything was together.
Now we talked about the confidence building for the kids. Let's switch to our listeners. And what are some tips you have to help build confidence in adults? Because there are so many adults that just don't have confidence. And it's because maybe our childhood or what happened along the way. But we just don't, a lot of people just don't have it. So how can they build it in their later years?
In the later years, I think that, in my opinion, I think that when you're older, the first thing that you must do is never compare your life to anyone else. That's the first thing that I really believe. And as I said before, I think that any situation that you get, even if you think that it's not for you and you deserve better or anything like that, that it's like, why this happened to me or whatever, you have to understand that there is a silver lining in that. There is a reason why it's not for you, why you think that it's not a blessing for you, but I'm sure that it's a blessing for you. The other thing that I think that will build an amazing confidence to a person is to help in any way that they can. It doesn't have to be in an organization. It can be even individually. If you know somebody, a friend, or anyone that you know that needs something, or they need your help, or they need help in general, or you know that they need something. If you're going to go after this and you're going to make other people happy, there is a magic. There is a real magic in doing this.
I agree because I've talked to people and on my social media and I've said like one of the things for confidence that I always recommend is doing something nice for somebody else because then you realize how powerful you are to make a positive impact in somebody else's life, and that in turn builds confidence.
It's life-changing. It's really life-changing. The third thing, it's big time life-changing. And the third thing, I love music myself. I love music. I think music and dancing is so important to anyone. I know that there is all these kind of things of meditation and all these things. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's another tool. But for a long time, to have like a part of you that you don't need to hide it, that it's going to be shining through you, the confidence is really to do, in my opinion, is the music, is the dancing, is the helping the others that they need your help. It's very, very important. I think that if everybody will understand that somebody out there needs you, it's going to be confidence.
Yeah, no, that is very, very well said. And I think it's like, it's important that people kind of hear that and replay that. It's like that, as soon as you start to not feel confident, try to do something nice for somebody else and just notice.
And And you know, when I wrote this book and I wanted to give the message for the kids, is because this is where they are not, if they're gonna have this foundation of them inside them, that they know that they need to help, and they will understand that it's part of life. We are all in one earth. We all connected to each other. We all, if we're going to do good by each other, it's going to be a beautiful world. So if they learn to do this in an early age, when they're grown up, it's just going to come to them, and they're going to be just like natural in it. It's going to be like, it's going to be part of their agenda of the day, or, you know, it's got part of their life. I know many people right now that they're very good friends of mine, and they go to work, they're doing a lot of business out here in Europe, but they always also have few foundations that they're very active in, and they try to help some kind of an organization. So
Yeah.
I think when you're doing this, it gives you a very beautiful community outside of your life, outside of your routine, where you're having every day 9 to 5 or whatever you do, you know that you have once a week something that you're responsible for, and they're waiting for you to do something great out there. So in my opinion, this is a great way to gain confidence.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something else too. You've said the word silver lining a few times, which I like. I always say life's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And sometimes
Love it.
most of the majority of the time, we can't control what happens to us. But if we look at it with a silver lining and realize that it's happening for us, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time, whether it's not getting the dream job, not having a business work, not having a relationship work out, it's like taking the silver lining is taking the lessons
Right.
from it to grow. And so I think that's another key thing also. And then, you know, you mentioned the first one was not comparing your life to others. And that's a hard one right now for a lot of people, because we are being bombarded with social media and with ads and with entertainment stuff. And it's like, you know, you just don't, the grass is never greener on the other side, because we've all been to the other side and we're going, well, this isn't kind of fun. This is a challenge. This is a this. So it is not comparing, because you're on your own unique journey and you have your own unique lessons to learn and experience to experience. So making sure you're leaving a positive mark, I think is key, because I would say, like, I've really worked on building my confidence, but we're human, and especially as we get older, you know, there's more maintenance you gotta do to keep it up, if you know what I mean. So I just, like, I feel like every year I just got to keep getting, like, you know, richer and richer just to maintain it. I feel like I'm like, well, I'm doing pretty good on my face, keeping that top, but now I gotta start lifting up my knees. You know what I mean? Those are starting to go too. So
you're far from there, but
I was like, what the heck? This is crazy. But yeah, I think it's just owning who you are. And for me, I think too, it's like tuning out the outside noise and not comparing yourself to others. That
it's poison.
and like
It's
everything
really poison
for you and not to you. Like if that person didn't, you know, work out in a relationship, like that wasn't the person for you. Now you're closer to that thing. That job didn't work out. Now you're closer to that situation. But I think it's just owning who you are and tuning out that outside noise. And if people don't think you're hot or you're pretty or you're whatever, it's really none of your business.
Exactly.
Actually a good
That's I always say we have to nourish our soul.
Yeah.
Nourish your soul. If you just don't, you know, it's very important what you are breathing in. I'm not talking about oxygen. I'm not talking about the food.
Right.
It's, you know, yeah, it's your faith. It's your connections. It's what you do in life. It's not comparing yourself. You know, there's so many things that you can nourish your soul with, other than all the outside things that they are being just that you can go and buy. You know, I'm not talking about going and buying stuff.
Yeah.
It's not a materialistic world.
Yeah, you can't take that with you. I always try to say, like, if you
Exactly.
can spend your money on anything, make it experiences. Mine is
Right.
experiences, and skincare, but
I love those too. I
You're
told
also
you I
holding
love makeup. I love everything.
Yeah.
But to me, that the first thing is really the inside of your soul.
Yeah.
It radiates, and at the end of the book, it says this. It's radiant. Alisha comes back and she says, they ask her, "What did you do that you look different?" She didn't need anything. She just saw all the beauty in the world, and it's radiant. It just was radiating.
Yeah, it radiates through her. And it's true. And
Yes.
that's what confidence does, is it radiates.
And
People
that takes me
feel
back
it.
to what you said. Sometimes you see a girl walking and you meet her and she's not the most beautiful, but then after speaking to her, she's like the most beautiful girl ever, right? Because of the confidence.
Yeah, radiating that confidence. So it's it's always like, when you're not feeling confident, do what you can to feel confident. Make sure you're getting up every day and you're putting on makeup or whatever you do to feel beautiful, getting
Yes.
dressed, doing positive affirmations, anything you can do to really rewire that subconscious. If you're somebody that certain things aren't happening for you and therefore it's affecting your confidence, start changing the affirmations and start reprogramming that. I talk about that. I preach that a lot, um, because these are things that I had to do to build my confidence back up. I used to
Yes.
run around, like with relationships. I used to run around and I would make jokes when I was doing a lot of stand up. And I would make jokes. I'm like, I love it when I see a hot guy at a party and he takes my number. And I'm like, oh, great, future heartache. But that's what I was putting out into the universe. And the story I kept telling myself was that, why start? Because it's just going to end, right? Instead of being like,
Right.
oh, I'm the person that's chosen. I'm the person that is the best one out there. I'm the person that is this. I'm the one
Yes.
that relationships last. I'm the one that's going to be happily, you know what I mean? So it's like, start changing that programming, because sometimes subconsciously we'll start doing stuff. When I was doing stand up all the time, I remember I would go up and I would do a lot of self-deprecating humor. And I
Right.
did that to counterbalance, so people weren't like, oh, like you're pretty and you're a comedian. What the heck is this? So I did it so I would be more relatable and they would like me more. But what I realized when I went at the time, and I was really heavy into it like 6 years ago, my confidence was so low. Even though I looked like I was dominating the world on the outside, I was breaking and falling apart on the inside. And I kept thinking, I'm like, God, I'm listening to sad music. I'm bashing myself like 5 times a night, 5 times a week on stage in front of hundreds and hundreds of people. And all that stuff starts to like add up. So when I do my self-deprecating humor, I turn it and twist it to a way that it's not bashing myself, because our language, is just as important as our thoughts. So I think it's important too that we start saying things, and accepting compliments. It's a big one. I was feeling a little, like, just last weekend, I was feeling a little, just not unconfident by any means. I was just a little frustrated with something. I had allowed myself to be in a situation that wasn't bad, but I just wanted to be out of the situation. And, I just wasn't feeling like my best. And my friend said to me, "You look so beautiful." And I turned around to her and I said, "Really?" And she goes, "Okay." And she literally smacked me on the arm. And she was like, "We don't say really, we say thank you." And I was like, "No, you're right. You're right." And she was like, "What is going on?" For me, though, she knew what was going on. I suffer from low testosterone. As a woman, you need a certain amount of testosterone. I've talked about this on the podcast. And I started getting like the pellets. They worked the best for me. It changed my life. I waited a little too long, so my hormones went off a cliff.
Oh,
And
wow.
the
I didn't know
anxiety,
about this.
yeah, the anxiety went through the roof, and it
Oh,
starts to wear on you. But I knew it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't my outside situation. But I wasn't thinking clearly. And at least I could identify exactly what it was. So I kept saying, this isn't you. This isn't your circumstances. This is your body being at
and
its,
you did something about it.
and there's hope.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I got them redone, and thank God. And these are newer ones. The doctor's like, you're gonna start feeling better in 2 days, blah blah blah. And like yesterday, I was talking to that same friend, and she's like, "You sound different." And I'm like, "Yeah, my hormone levels are back." So that's a big thing too. And I like to, I always bring on doctors about that on this podcast, because it was so life-changing for me. And I'm like, you guys don't understand like how anxious I was, how nervous, how just I couldn't have the most unbreakable confidence because I felt like shit. Like my body didn't fucking work. And I was frustrated and I didn't want to be a druggie popping into the Walgreens to get some damn pharmaceutical that's destroying my liver. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to go on an antidepressant and numb myself from every emotion. And so so the hormone thing for me, like, changed my life. So if you're still struggling with certain things, like I highly recommend you go to an endocrinologist and do that, because that helped my confidence tremendously.
Wow.
It can be as simple as your body not working.
You see, so sometimes it's science. Sometimes it's science.
Yeah, but the thing is, when science gets in the way, then all of a sudden you get bombarded and it becomes your thoughts. And you start manifesting that energy to you, to where before you know it, you feel like you're the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
Correct.
So yeah, so it's very key. But I do like that. And like now it's, now that I'm fixed, minus the 2-week hurdle, I went down. I'm never waiting this long to get them redone again. But yeah, those confidence tips are like absolutely key. But I do like the message of the most impactful way to feel beautiful is to make sure you leave your mark in a positive way.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely life-changing. So I want to know real quick, what does red lipstick mean to you? Not to Alisha, to you, Edna.
To me, again, when we say red lipstick, my mom comes to me, because that's how I grew up, with my mom's face with the red lipstick. Red lipstick to me is a statement. I'm here and I'm making a change. I'm here, I'm going to leave a mark.
Yeah.
It's sexy.
Mm-hmm.
It is sexy. It's inviting. It's inviting.
Yeah.
I think red lipstick is inviting. So I'm inviting you to my world. I want you to be part of my world. That's what it tells me. I mean, red lipstick to me, I'm inviting you to come to me, and I want to share life with you. I want to share my journey with you. I want to share my experiences with you. I want to make memories with you. I want our friendship to go to a level where it's going to be so productive to the world that it is going to leave an amazing mark. I want you to be my partner. That's a red lipstick to me.
I love that. That is so beautifully said. And what if you don't look good in red lipstick?
Everybody looks good in red lipstick. It's just like it's in your head. Everybody looks amazing. You put a black dress on, you do your hair, little black eyeliner, and red lipstick.
Okay, I'll have to find my shade.
I want to see a picture. I know that you're gonna look amazing with red lipstick.
Well, it was funny. I put on my friend's red lipstick. Gosh, we were at a charity event. Like, oh my, it was pre-COVID, so 4 or 5 years ago.
I promise you're gonna look amazing.
But I put it on and I took a picture, and my aunt was like, "You look so old." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it did. It made me look older." But here's the thing: there's multiple shades of red, so you just have to find the red that's for you.
Yeah. Yes. So there is a blue. There is if a red lipstick has blue in it, it might do that to you. If it has like orange and brown, it's more mellow.
Yeah, I think so that's probably it. So find the right red lipstick.
Yes.
You realize that every time I see a woman in red lipstick now, I'm gonna want to be her friend after that description. Be like, "Are you inviting me into your world?" She'll be like, "What? Get away from me."
To look at.
Are you?
But this is it. It's red lipstick is very inviting, because it takes a guts to wear a red lipstick or a red dress, right? When you wear a red dress, I'm not very
Yeah, so I like that. Okay, so where can people get their hands on Alisha's magical red lipstick, the book?
It's everywhere. If you go on my website, you can see all the places. It's Barnes and Noble, Amazon, everywhere. It's available in many stores online.
Okay, I love it. That is so great. So yes, if you're a parent pick up this book. If you're somebody who is hurting with self-confidence, maybe you should pick up the book too. Nieces, nephews, I'm gonna grab it for my nieces.
It's
I can't.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The best thing about this book that there's a diversity in the book. It's very diverse.
Yeah.
You will see all different kinds of children and adults, and the picture is very beautiful, and the colors, and it's happy. It's a happy book. It's a great book to learn from.
Yeah.
And it's being well received. It's doing amazing in the market. And the feedback that I'm getting, the videos that people are sending me and sharing with me, it's overwhelming and beautiful. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying it. Alisha is really gave me a lot of happiness.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I'm so glad. And thank you for writing this book to impact children's lives and people's lives for the better, because
I
we
hope
are
so.
all made amazing, and it's up to us to realize that and to live out our gifts and our purpose and make a positive impact in the world. So Edna, thank you so much for coming on and sharing Alicia's
Thank
magical
you.
red lipstick. It was so cute.
Thank you
I was
so
so
much. Thank you
inspired.
for having me on.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure.
So thank you. And thank you to everyone who's listening, wherever you may be. We will see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.